Okay, sorry guys for the being away from YouTube for a while. I've just been trying to get a lot of stuff together, trying to build my new computer and stuff so I can do editing and stuff on these videos, because I really just don't like just making a video. I like to actually have a bunch of stuff going on for it to really look good, especially with the audio and whatnot. But right now I'm just kind of running on this small HD camera here, so just bear with me. This is my predictions for UFC 139. Let's first start off with Stephan Bonnar versus Kingsbury. This fight here is it's an okay fight with both of these guys. You have Stephan Bonnar, which is okay fighter. Kingsbury kind of coming up fighter. Both of it's not really a interesting fight, as these guys are at the top of their division, but it has it's going to be a really entertaining fight. Bonnar always puts on an entertaining fight, only to the fact because he's willing to brawl with individuals, and who doesn't like seeing a brawl? But in this fight, I believe he's going to come on a losing end, because he's going against more of a technical striker in Kingsbury, and he's just going to really take a beating in this one. He's not going to really have a chance to really go out there and really throw the bombs that he wants to. He normally catches guys when he's, all beat up, and then catches them with, a right hook or some type of strike and finish. But I just don't see that happening, because you're going against a guy who's a technical striker and will, pretty much put his punches where he wants to put them. And I have Kingsbury winning this one by knockout, I would say, or TKO. He's going to win by either one, but he's going to finish the fight in the second round, I believe. Then we have Martin Kampmann and Rick Story. This is an interesting fight, because both of these guys they're kind of really at the bottom, like probably number 11, number 12 of division. And if they win this, whoever wins this fight will probably be in the top 10, I would say. Both of these guys are coming off of losses. Story has great wrestling, or good wrestling. Let me take that back. Not excellent, but he has very good wrestling. But I think that he could use that wrestling to kind of control Kampmann, but I just believe that with the experience that Kampmann has, he's going to be a little bit more tenacious as far as using his striking to kind of keep the wrestling off and have a good wrestling defense. I just see, and plus he has a lot of submissions. He has a lot of wins where he uses his submission game to win. Where Story could control Kampmann, but with his wrestling, I just see, like I said, Kampmann using his striking ability and submission ability to really fend off that and to really take it to where he wants to take it. So I have Kampmann winning this one by submission, third round. Okay, guys. Then we have the next fight, which is Uriah Faber versus Brian Bowles. Uriah Faber has good wrestling. Brian Bowles is an excellent all-around fighter. Both of these guys have really, really excellent fighting styles. It's going to be a really exciting fight. This is one of the three fights that I'm very, very interested in this card, and both of these guys are going to be pinging off of each other. It's going to be a super fast-paced fight. Obviously, Uriah Faber is the bigger of the guys and the stronger of the two. Uriah Faber has he's a better wrestler than Bowles, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's a better fighter. But with that being said, do I think that Uriah Faber is going to win the fight? Yes, but only because of his wrestling, his diverse striking. He throws a lot of strikes that you really don't see a wrestler throwing. A wrestler normally when they're learning striking or when they're using striking and their base is wrestling, is they have a straightforward striking ability. They really are just jab, jab, cross. jab cross. They don't really throw a lot of things that you won't see, as far as individuals where a wrestler who's a striker throws things that are out of your vision, and those are the hits that knock a person out, the ones that you don't see. And that's what Uriah Faber does. His striking ability, from kicks to punches, he throws nice combinations, and he throws those punches and those strikes that you don't see coming, that are out of your vision because you're blocking or you're doing something else. They're not necessarily the fastest punches, but they are strikes that you don't expect. So with that being said, I don't think he's going to knock Bowles out, but I do see him winning the decision by using his wrestling and takedowns to really rack up the points, and being busy, not being pushed back against the cage by Bowles, but actually engaging him also in the striking. So once again, excuse me guys, I have a cold here. I have Faber winning this fight by decision. Okay, next match, which is Wanderlei Silva versus Cung Le. This is an interesting fight, just based upon both of these guys fighting. It's not necessarily exciting because as far as fighter base, I'm very interested in seeing how Cung Le does. I'm not very interested in Silva. I really, be honest with you guys, I really think Silva is on the downside. He's really on his last leg with his fights and whatnot. Everyone knows Wanderlei Silva's fighting style. He's a come at you. He doesn't really block. It's just a flurry of punches. He's a mean striker, and if he catches you with one of those wild, over the right hand punches, or his punches are very wide. They're not really straight down the middle. Then you have Cung Le, who is a striker also, who is uses a lot of kicks to really set up his strikes, which I disagree on. I think you should strike with a punch before you kick, not kick before you strike. But that's just my opinion. But Cung Le he uses his kicks like brutally. He'll really tear someone down with his kicks. And he throws his kicks from a distance so maybe he won't get hit with the strike. But I see Wanderlei really going in there and really throwing these crazy punches, these lunging punches, trying to get, going forward like he always does, and getting caught with the kick or getting caught with something straight down the middle, which will knock him out completely. And we have already seen Wanderlei's chin degrade and is going down, down, down. And this won't be any different. I believe this will be the Axe Murderer's last match. He's going to retire after this. And if he doesn't retire after losing this fight, then he should retire. I think that the UFC would fire him before letting him refight again. And, but fighters are fighters. And, they'll choose when they want to retire. And he may just go to a different organization. And maybe he can become, his fights can become, highlight reels again by going against some lower level competition. But as of right now, against Cung Le, I just don't see him winning against Le, and Cung Le is going to really, put the nail in the casket. Okay, so let's go to Shogun versus Dan Henderson. Now, in this fight, guys, I was really going back and forth, trying to figure out, who's going to win this fight, because I was really on the cuspice with Dan Henderson. Yes, he's beating all these guys in the UFC. In Strikeforce. He's going against all these guys, knocking these guys out, Babalu and all these other guys, impressive highlight reel and whatnot. But these guys are in Strikeforce. guys in Strikeforce, yes, they're great fighters, they're good fighters, but most of these guys are guys who are rejects from the UFC, who couldn't make it in the UFC, and Dan Henderson is just going through them like, weeds. He's a weed cutter cutting down weeds, and he's just, just knocking these guys out, highlight reel after highlight reel. He gained the belt. Yes, he did beat Fedor. I know a lot of guys, Fedor, but Fedor was on his way out also. He already had a mental problem with his loss that he had previously had. But then you have Shogun, who, yes, he did get beat by John Jones, got demolished, but he's had some good fights too. But he's going against top tier competition in the light heavyweight division. And for that reason, I can't say that Dan Henderson is going to win this match. Yes, everybody knows that he has the H-bomb, that overhand right that he always throws. But Dan Henderson has to win against elite competition. Since he went against Jake Shields, who got pushed over into the UFC. Since then, he hasn't went against anyone who would be, even considered to be in the UFC. When he went against Jake Shields, he got out-wrestled. Dan Henderson got out-wrestled by Jake Shields, who is primarily a jiu-jitsu guy. And then Jake Shields went on to the UFC. Now, even though Jake Shields really isn't doing that great in the UFC, he got pulled over into the UFC, and I do agree that Jake Shields is UFC material. Dan Henderson, is he UFC material at this point in his career? I don't know. But I know Shogun is. And with that being said, Dan Henderson only has one weapon, which is his right hand. That's the only thing that he's looking for, is that right hand. He wants to connect with that right hand, where Shogun has multiple weapons, his legs, his feet. He's great on the ground also. So I see this match. I don't see anyone knocking anybody out. I think it's going to be an action-packed fight, but I do think it's going to go to a decision, and Shogun's going to win this by decision. Because we all know, like I said, Dan Henderson is just going to be trying to look for that one right hand, and I don't think he's going to be very active until he just hits that one. He's just going to be walking around with this behind him, walking. And with that being said, he's going to get hit with a lot of kicks and jabs and things of that nature. Yes, he's going to be guarding while he's getting punched, but you know how the judges look at it. Who's the more active fighter? Who's pushing the fight? Who's the aggressor? So I have Shogun winning this fight by decision. So that's my preview predictions for UFC 139. Please comment, subscribe, and rate as normal. If you guys tell me, guys, who do you guys think is going to win this fight? Let me know what you guys think of my picks. Do you think I'm right? Do you think I'm wrong? Challenge me. Once again, guys, thanks for watching my video. Peace.